Hello, everyone. This is a brand new podcast that I am starting. This is going to be the welcome episode, and I am also going to be focusing mainly on the top 5 dinosaurs, in my opinion, of course. Top 5 dinosaurs of 2025, as we are now 2-ish weeks into January of 2026. Yeah. So, first of all, welcome to the podcast. My name is Cam. I just love dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. I love a bunch of stuff, pretty much all stuff prehistoric. And occasionally I will be bringing on specialists. I will be talking about a wide variety of different topics, and yeah, we'll cover dinosaurs, we'll cover pterosaurs, marine reptiles, mammals, possibly some invertebrates, though I don't know a whole lot about them. And yeah, this is basically a place where I can just talk about dinosaurs and talk about different discoveries and how cool they are, and bring on specialists to tell you how much cooler they are, because news outlets usually don't cover all of the coolest stuff, sadly. So yeah, with all of that, this is going to be a relatively short welcome episode, and also the stuff that I want to cover in this first episode. All right, so first, to cover my ranking of discoveries for 2025, dinosaur discoveries. Well, first of all, I want to mention a bonus fossil. That bonus fossil is a pterosaur that appears to have been, I want to say, vomited up by a spinosaur. I don't know a whole lot about that. I just remember glossing over that and thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. I still have yet to go back and actually read what that's about, or ask the specialists that I know about him. Yeah, so that's bonus. Number 5 is Zavacephalae. Zavacephalae appears to be the oldest pachycephalosaur we know of. It had a very particular dome shape. Well, not dome shape, but the dome didn't really appear to be encompassing the entire top of the head, which is a little bit strange. Just a wee bit strange. I mean, looking at it, it looks just like looking at the skull, not just the drawings of it, but the skull. You're just like, oh, why is the dome so small on its head? It's weird, but I love it. I love pachycephalosaurs. All right, moving on to number 4. Number 4, we have Sri Rapax. Sri Rapax is, I believe, the second species within the Sri genus. Yeah, it was a very bulky velociraptor-sized dromaeosaur. So it would have looked relatively similar to Velociraptor, but a little bit more bulky. And if I'm remembering correctly, the thumb claw appears to be giant on Sri Rapax. And it is so bizarre to find an animal with such a big thumb claw, other than, say, on iguanodonts or the Megaraptorans. But in families other than those, it's kind of weird to see such a giant curved thumb claw. And it's so freaking cool. Moving on to number 3, we have Joaquin Raptor. Joaquin Raptor is a new, speak of the devil, is a Megaraptoran, a new Megaraptoran that was discovered. And possibly my favorite thing, or rather, I'm going to tell you my second favorite thing and then my favorite thing. My second favorite thing about Joaquin Raptor is that it is possibly one of the most complete Megaraptorans we know of. We have more of the skull, if I recall correctly. If I'm misremembering stuff, please correct me in the comments. Or yeah, just please correct me if you can. So yeah, it's one of the most complete Megaraptorans we know of. And also, in my opinion, the coolest thing about Joaquin Raptor has a crocodile leg bone preserved in its jaws. It is so cool because I find predation fossils or fossils that died in the act of predation. I really like those fossils. It shows just a coolness with prehistory that you don't get with normal fossils. It's just so cool. I love the fact that we found it like that. And again, I could be misremembering that, and that could be another dinosaur eating a croc leg. So please correct me if I am incorrect. And moving on to number 2, we have Spicomelus. Spicomelus is an ankylosaur dinosaur. So armored buddy, but it's probably the weirdest armored guy that I personally can think of. Because we've known about this dinosaur for a few years, I think. And before, it just looked really, really prickly. Like it had tiny, tiny little spikes all over its body. Then not earlier in 2025, but in 2025, it was discovered that Spicomelus has insane spiky protrusions along its sides, its neck, and its tail a little bit. It looks so weird. It looks like a freaking Pokemon. It looks like a Pokemon. And it's just so bizarre. And the most bizarre thing, in my opinion, about it is the fact that those spikes are not osteoderms. For those of you who don't know, osteoderms are basically when tiny bits of bone grow in the skin and become a form of armor. Osteo means bone, and derm, obviously, if you know the word dermatologist, is skin. So osteo is bone, derm is skin, the word dermatologist. And so osteoderm means bone skin. And that's a pretty apt description, I would say. But the weird thing about Spicomelus is that it has osteoderms, if I recall correctly. But the biggest spikes on Spicomelus are not osteoderms, or at least not that I'm able to see or have read in the paper. Those giant spikes on its neck are growing from the ribs of the neck. And there's a few more examples of that around the skeleton, but like, holy cow, that is so weird, so incredibly weird. I've never seen a dinosaur like that growing spikes from their ribs. It's so bizarre. And for that, it makes the top 2. And the number 1, my personal favorite discovery of 2025 has probably got to be Nenotyrannus. Nenotyrannus was described, I think, 30 or 40 years ago, somewhere around that time. And Nenotyrannus has been highly debated for most of its known existence to be either its own genus and species, Nenotyrannus lencensis, or a Tyrannosaurus juvenile. That's been the argument point for a long time. I first heard of Nenotyrannus in a documentary, and it's not a very good documentary. So anything to make that documentary more wrong, I think, was a therapeutic way to kind of justify my hatred for it. So I personally did not want Nenotyrannus to be a thing. And then just a few months ago in 2025, I don't remember when exactly. It's currently January when I'm recording this, or like mid-January. But yeah, the Nenotyrannus paper just a few months ago came out and confirmed that Nenotyrannus is its own thing. It's surprisingly well written. It's well written, well researched, and yeah, it was so interesting. Because not only did they confirm Nenotyrannus was its own dinosaur, but they found another species of Nenotyrannus that we already had, called Nenotyrannus lethaeus, named after the Greek river, or the Greek river in the underworld. I forget exactly what that river's purpose is, but Yeah. It's a fun discovery. I, even as someone who was kind of like more or less on the side of young T-Rex on the Nanotyrannus debate, this paper completely flipped me around. It took me a few hours or maybe a few days, but I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. Science is going to be science, and science is going to progress our knowledge. And yeah, those are my favorite top 5 discoveries of 2025. 2025 was a great year for paleontology, and I can't wait for what 2026 has to offer. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening. Again, please, if you want to know more about just a dino nerd's life, please subscribe and make sure to leave a comment on what kind of topic you would like me to talk about next. I am not a paleontologist. I am just a dinosaur nerd that loves to research about dinosaurs in his off time or free time. So if you have any questions or topics that you would like me to cover, send them my way and I'll get a video in pre-production about it. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you guys have just an amazing rest of your day and rest of your week, and I shall bid thee all farewell.